growing up in Newham, I always say that Newham created the person that I am today. I wrote that tweet on the train going to Apple.
Yeah.
We had our morning meetings.
Yeah.
I hit publish in that meeting and I locked my phone, put on Do Not Disturb. 4 hours later, I came back and I was like, whoa. So if I have an idea, I'm going to try and see it through. Some of them will really work, some of them won't. But I think I was a born entrepreneur. Like, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to take the risk. The thing is, when you have social media virality, you can't sit down and wait.
Yeah.
I knew that
true.
I was buzzing at that moment and everyone's looking at me for financial stuff. I can't say in a month's time I might release a podcast.
Yeah.
I've got to do it now. I've got to kind of capitalize on this buzz. I remember resigning from Apple. They're like, you really going to go? You're like, are you making money from this? And I was like, I believe in me. You don't need to believe in me. I do. And let me tell you something. On month 6, I remember actually one time I was on radio and then one of the hosts said, but you're so young. Like, what do you know about... I mean, he literally said, what do you know about finance? And I remember saying to him on radio, I laughed because I didn't expect him to ask me this live on air. And I said to him,
welcome to the Takeoff Experience, where I sit down with highly driven people to talk about their journey, their failures, and their successes. If you want to take off in your career, your business, your finances, or your mindset, then this podcast is for you. This episode is sponsored by Money Hub, a secure money management app that helps you to manage your money with ease. The Money Hub app provides you with a single view of all your accounts by letting you connect your bank accounts, your savings accounts, investment accounts, your credit cards, all in one place. To help with your money goals, Money Hub has features that allows you to track your incomings versus your outgoings every single month, and also allows you to set and track your spending budgets every single month too. It's a fantastic app, right? Well, you can download the Money Hub app for free by tapping the link in my description. You can use the Money Hub app free for 6 months with no auto renewal. And if you really like the app, then you can continue using it for only £1.49p per month. It's a deal of the century, right? Well, make sure to go and download the app right now. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Welcome back to the Takeoff Experience. We have a special guest in the building. We have a fellow financial influencer, fellow podcaster.
Yes,
as
yes,
well. Kia,
yes.
how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. I'm happy to be here. So I'm very excited. I'm on this podcast. I'm happy.
Yeah, you know what? I'm excited to have you here. But you know what I want to start with, actually? Thailand. So you recently came back from Thailand. How was it out there?
Thailand was good. Very, very good. I went for 10 days. I flew from London. So basically it was London, Dubai, Phuket. Yeah. That's where I went. Okay. And I spent a day.
Dubai and Phuket?
No. So like the flights were, there was no, well, there was direct
it was
flight.
like a stopover?
Yes, I did a layover for like 2 hours in Dubai and then flew straight to Phuket.
Yeah.
And then I spent 1 day in Phuket. 3 days on PP Islands, and then the remainder of my trip back in Phuket. So that's like another 5 days in Phuket.
Okay.
And it was very good. Thailand's very cheap. The people are lovely. The nightlife is wow. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who wants to go. It's just wow. Like on my first night, we went out to the main strip because my friend was like, so my friend happened to be there same time I was there, and she's Thai. So we met her in the main strip. And she's like, yeah, come. We're walking. And this woman was like to me, do you want to come and see a show? And I was like, of course, I'm on holiday. Of course I want to come and see a show. The show that I saw, I can't even speak on this podcast. The show that I saw, that just set the bar for my holiday. I said, this is night 1. What things am I seeing here on night 1? But it was crazy. It was a really good trip.
Show was code for something else. Clearly, right?
She did not tell me what I was about to see when I walked into that place.
Oh my God.
All I'm going to say is you can't have your phones. They patrol and they say no recording, you can't have your phones out at all. So that just tell you everything that you need to know.
That is wild.
But it was very good. Very worth the money. I did loads of boat trips. It's so beautiful out there and it's so cheap.
Yeah,
so good.
It's not a place that I've been to, but it's somewhere where I want to go. The only places in Asia that I've been to is Indonesia, Bali, lovely, and Singapore. Those are only two. So yeah,
you've still done some good hit list though.
It's decent. You also got another deal, right? All inclusive, Morocco, 250.
Yes,
how did that happen? How did you find that deal?
Do you know
that's crazy.
It's so crazy because that video. So I had, before I tell you about that deal, I had done a video on my trip about a couple of days after I came back. So this is in January 2023. And like it did, I think it did about 60,000 views on TikTok. And I was like, oh my gosh, cute. I was like, oh my gosh, it did numbers. And then something possessed me about a week and a half ago now to redo that video basically and just do the exact same thing that I said before, but just put more images of and videos of my trip. Okay. And that video today officially just touched 1 million views on TikTok. It's got 112,000 likes and 1 million views on TikTok. Crazy, right?
Wow.
But that deal was December, I think, like just after Christmas. And LV, we were talking. And we were just like, should we go on holiday? I was like, yeah. She gave me some dates. She gave me the specific dates. She could only do 3 days in January. She said, yeah, we can go in those dates. So I said, okay, cool. I'll work my magic. I'll find something. And there were loads of good all-inclusive deals to Morocco. And I said, okay, I've been before, but like I'd happily go back again. So we found that one. That was a 4-star hotel, all-inclusive, including our transfer from the airport. $250, and we'll actually just go. And we said, yeah, we just create content on it as well, so we can share the deal that we went on. Yeah. And it was absolutely incredible. Like we had the best time. When I tell you we felt like superstars, they knew our names. Every time we walked into breakfast, they were like, oh my gosh, how are you today? Oh, it was great. I had the best time. The best time.
That's sick. You know, those are always the best type of holidays. The cheap ones, and then the ones where you get treated like royalty.
Oh, it was great. I loved it. Right? Loved it.
Crazy. All right, so I got this question for you. Who is Kia?
Who is Kia? Ooh, what a good question. Kia she is multifaceted. She is a content creator. I think that's how people best know her, as a content creator. But the people who probably have known me for a long time in my personal life would say that I'm somewhat of a comedian.
Okay.
And I'm someone who enjoys having fun. So what a lot of people don't know is that I like to game. I wouldn't call myself a gamer, but I like to game on my old school consoles. So like I've got my Nintendo GameCube. I play my DS all the time. It's actually on me now. I've got my DS on me.
DS?
Yeah, I've got it on me. I bring it with me.
Time ago though.
I keep it. I played it on the plane. I play it whenever I go on holiday. I'm always playing my DS. I love The Sims. I do all that. I love to read, and I like to go out. Yeah, I like to just enjoy myself. I feel like life's about enjoyment. I like to enjoy myself as Kia, but then I also like to share knowledge and create content. So I think that's who Kia is.
Amazing. It's so funny that you say you're not a gamer. I feel like I've recently just got involved in games. Started playing my PS5 a little bit more. I wasn't playing it for the first 2 years, and now I'm playing FIFA all the time.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a gamer. What?
You're a gamer?
I'll call myself a gamer like how you are. Like I think I've been in and out of it, but yeah, I've been playing games most of my life. I had all of the I had a GameCube. I had a DS as well. I had a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, 4, 5. So I've had all the PlayStations.
Yeah, I love it. It's just so fun. And I think for me, my parents were gamers. So they were gamers before they had me.
Really?
Yeah. So then when I was born, obviously not as a little baby, but when I got to toddler age, about 4 or 5, I used to sit there and watch my parents play games. And then when I got old enough and I can understand what's going on, they teach me how to play games. I remember like being 4 years old and watching my dad play The Sims, and he showed me how The Sims worked, and I think that's probably why I fell in love with it, and I still love it now. Yeah, like it used to be a family affair. I remember vividly, there was a point where I was maybe about 6 or 7. My mum and I were playing this game, like on the PlayStation 1. Yeah. And we were stuck on a level, and I remember mum saying, "When your dad comes home, he will help us." And as soon as he walked through the door, forget about how's your day. Pops, we're stuck. And he came, we sat down, he said, whoa. We went online, found the walkthrough. Yeah. Boom, we got us through. He said, "Thanks, Pops." Carried on playing. That's just kind of family we were.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. No, my parents didn't play no games, man. Hey, look, there's curfew on them games, boy. Whoa. So you talked about your parents a little bit. Where are your parents from?
My mum is, as in country-wise, my mum is Jamaican, my dad's Dominican.
Okay, cool. Were you born in either of those countries or here?
I was born here.
Okay.
I was born in London.
Cool. Whereabouts did you grow up for most of your life?
I grew up and lived until last year November in Newham in East London.
Okay, so East London side. Yes. Cool. How did you find it in growing up in Newham? I
say, because I think statistically, Newham it fights with Tower Hamlets to be the poorest borough of London.
Is it?
Yeah, every year they tussle to see who's gonna be number 1. It's between 1 and 2, right?
Oh, wow.
So I guess when you have that knowledge, people have a certain belief of what people in Newham look like and what they're gonna achieve. But I think growing up in Newham, I always say that Newham created the person that I am today.
Okay.
Because you grow up in this area where a lot of people around you maybe are struggling for cash, and that, you know, that's the kind of thing. But when I got into school, when I was in primary school, I got put into gifted and talented. Then I got to secondary school, I also got put into gifted and talented. I was working really hard, and I think that being in Newham and being technically underprivileged, I was like, bro, that's got nothing to do with me. I am gonna be successful regardless, and I put a lot of my success down to being in that environment. I think all the people around me were very much like, this doesn't define us. Where you was born, your postcode doesn't mean anything. Yeah. And I think my parents are testament to that as well.
That's crazy.
I'm so happy to be in East London. I'm like, yeah man, come on, Newham all the way. I love it.
You said gifted and talented. That's it. So that's for people who are excelling like
yeah,
crazy.
so gifted and talented, as far as I knew when I was in primary school anyway, because I got identified in year 4 to be gifted and talented, and I was in it until I left school in year 6. But gifted and talented is people who, I guess the school system identifies as doing very well, and the current syllabus can't facilitate their growth. So because I was doing so well, I guess, in all my exams and everything, there was like I remember about 6 of us who'd been gifted and talented for English and maths, and we go off for an hour while everyone's doing their normal work. We go off and do maths, and they give us like hard stuff to do.
Okay.
And we do it. We do spelling tests with like hard words, and we'd really be going at like 8-9 years old. And then I had the same thing in secondary school as well. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, mad. So would you classify yourself at that point as like a bit of an intellectual? Do you feel like you were at that time?
I think as a kid,
like study and stuff like that?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I did very much enjoy it. And I think I picked up things very quickly.
Okay.
So when it came to spelling tests, I really got things wrong because I think I could just remember like, okay, that's how you spell that. Okay. Cool, I've got this. So, yeah, I got that. Maths wasn't my strong suit. I don't know why I was in gifted and talented maths. I can't lie to you. There were some kids there who were better at maths than me. But overall, like I got it, but not maths. I was like, some of the things we'll be doing it and they time you and I'd be like, bro, I'm never going to win this one because maths ain't my strong suit. But I guess in the overall scheme of things, I was gifted and talented.
You were gifted and talented.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then, so if we go to like college times, what was like the main subjects you were studying at college?
I studied at AS.
Yeah.
Chemistry, biology, economics, and French.
Wow, that's such a wide range.
I know.
And you did a lot of 5.
No, I did 4. I did 4.
That's quite.
So that's at AS, and then at A2 obviously you dropped 1, so I did 3.
Wow. And then, so what did you decide to study at uni then? Out of all of those options,
I did French and business.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did French and business. Wait, so you must have been quite fluent then.
Yeah.
Wait, are you fluent in French now?
Yeah, I mean,
you put me to shame, man.
Really?
Hey, I was born there and I can't even
No, come on.
I went there for long enough, only 2
Fair
years.
enough, I'll let you off.
That's great. Wait, so you're fluent in French? Wait, you don't say this, you don't talk about this.
Fluent enough. Like, I won't say fluent because I don't converse with enough people who are French. Okay. But when I was in Morocco in January. There's a lot of French people there. And I remember there was one time we went camel riding and the man who was doing the camel riding couldn't speak any English, only French. And everyone who was doing the camel riding couldn't speak English, no French. So I was the middleman. He was talking to me saying, can you tell everyone that we're going to stop here, take pictures? And I'd be like, guys.
You were doing
the translation. And I speak to him back and translate,
That's funny. Oh, man, that's it. Okay, so French business. And for that opportunity, did you get to live in France for a bit?
So,
that one?
it was part of my degree.
Okay.
I opted out of it. Because whilst I was at uni was such an interesting time for me. But whilst I was in my second year, no, I was doing my dissertation. So I opted out of it because I thought I'll do it at the end because you can do it either in between second and third year or third and fourth year. I was going to do it third and fourth year. I got into an accident which meant I couldn't finish my dissertation, so I couldn't graduate. So that got delayed a year. And because it just all got delayed, I just never really went to do my year abroad. Okay. I was just like, I just want to get out of this uni now. I want to just graduate and just
completely finish it.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And I guess, what happened after that? What happened after uni? Did you decide to get a job? Was it?
So during my second and third year, so I've always been working since I was 16. Okay. Second and third year, I got a job at Apple. So I was working in...
Nice. That's lucky. It's very tough to get a job there.
Oh, I knew someone because I applied for 5 times. I never got a job at Apple. Now I knew someone. She's like, oh, if I refer you, you basically get guaranteed an interview. I can't guarantee you the job. I can guarantee you an interview by referring you. So she did that. I obviously put on my best charm. They loved it. And I got a job. And I worked in the Oxford Circus, the flagship store. Yeah. In London.
Wow, that must have been interesting.
That was very interesting. And I was studying in Coventry. So I'd come down every weekend to work.
Wow.
And then get the train back to Coventry to go back to uni.
You didn't want to work in Apple in Coventry? Did it have one?
The nearest one was Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
And the pay was better in London.
Okay.
Like it made up for the travel. The pay you get was like, I got paid like £4 or £5 more an hour.
Okay, fair enough.
So I was like, I'll come down. The trains are cheap. At that point, the trains were like £7.
That's
crazy. Come down. I was like, that's fine.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so end up doing a bit of Apple.
Oh, I didn't finish. Yeah, sorry. So I was working at Apple, and my whole plan was I didn't know what I was going to do. Am I going to graduate? I think the plan that I had when I went to uni was I'm going to do my degree, and I'm probably going to go and work for like a law firm or a bank and do their translating arm for them when they work with international clients. Okay, I'll be the translator because the translator get paid decent money. Yeah. I thought that was going to be me while I figure out my path. Yeah. And then in third year, while I was finishing my dissertation, that's when I made the now infamous tweet about the Help to Buy ISA.
Wait, you were still at uni when you made that?
I was still at uni working part-time. I was actually working at Apple. I was on shift.
So you're working part-time Apple and Oh,
I was on shift when I made that tweet.
Okay.
I wrote that tweet on the train going to Apple.
Yeah.
We had our morning meetings.
Yeah.
I hit publish in that meeting and I locked my phone, put on Do Not Disturb. 4 hours later, I came back and I was like, whoa.
Wow, your life has just changed.
Literally. I didn't know how much was going to change then, but that is, I was like, I remember going around to my friends, but yo, and people saying, I've got you in my DMs. Like, what you post, Kia? I was like, bro, I don't know. I just posted a tweet. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. What
was the motivation like for like writing the tweet? What made you think, I want to write this tweet? And can you tell people briefly what the tweet was about?
Yes. Yeah. So I wrote a tweet about the Help to Buy ISA, which at the time in 2019 was about to close. I think at the time we had 1 month left for anyone who wanted to open it before it got superseded by Lifetime ISA. So I had a friend of mine who knew that the year prior I was making personal finance YouTube videos on my old YouTube channel. And she's like, Kia, my mom was telling me to get Help to Buy ISA. Can you explain it? Can you like put it on your Instagram story, explain how it works? I was like, yeah, cool. I said, what do you think the best format is to do it in? She said, just like write a thread on Twitter, screenshot it and put it in your stories. I said, you're smart. Yeah. Of course I'm going to do that. So that's what I did. I wrote it all out. Yeah. I remember writing on the train and just double checking all the numbers were correct that I was putting in. I said, okay, cool. I hit publish with the intention of, I had 600 followers at the time. Intention of coming back on my lunch break, screenshotting everything and saying, hey guys, here's Help to Buy ISA and putting my tweets on my story. So that's why I wrote it, to screenshot it and put it on my Instagram story, because at the time I had something like 2,000 Instagram followers versus 600 Twitter followers, which was like nothing. But then I opened up my phone and I went from 600 Twitter followers to 5,000. Wow. I was like, what happened there? This wasn't the plan. Yeah. So I still screenshot and put it on my Instagram story and I was like, sis, like, what's going on? Like, this tweet the numbers, it wasn't even the intention. I just wanted to screenshot and put it on my story for you. And that was why. If she, I honestly say this to this day, if she had not asked me to do that, you probably wouldn't know who I am today.
That's crazy.
You have no idea who I am today.
It sounds like it was your destiny, though.
It's true. I mean, maybe I would have found a way somehow. Yeah. But definitely she was the reason why I made the tweet. Because I asked her. If she said, just write on your story, I probably wouldn't have made a tweet.
Imagine. It's that sometimes it's those like thin margins and those things, where it's like, what if, right?
It's crazy.
Which is mad. Okay, so you obviously posted a tweet. Yes. It went viral. Yes. It did really, really well. I guess what was going through your head at that time? Walk me through how you then got to the point where you're like, okay, cool, I want to do a podcast and
really good.
I want to go full time and stuff like that. Yeah,
really good question. So I've always been very driven. Okay. So if I have an idea, I'm gonna try and see it through. Some of them will really work, some of them won't. But I think I was a born entrepreneur. Like, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to take the risk. So when that blew up, I was there like, oh my gosh. And I had like 400 DMs. I was like, okay, like I've done something here. I don't know what that means. I haven't figured it out yet. I did another thread on the Lifetime ISA because that was coming in. So people want to know, okay, so how does that work? Which one should I get? Did that. And I was like, okay, cool. This is also done numbers. So, okay. People were saying, oh, you should start a YouTube channel. I said, no. I don't have time. I didn't want to show my face as well. I was like, no. It's not for me right now. And then someone suggested a podcast. I said, audio only, like I could do that. I think I could do a podcast. So from deciding I want to do a podcast to actually launching a podcast was about a week or two. It wasn't a long gap. Yeah. So I had found a studio. Yeah. Which was actually the Guap Studios. Okay. Who were just open. And I say that because they're very integral to my growth as well. Okay. So I decided to go there, even though it was like halfway across the world. It felt like I live in East London, it was South London, like halfway across the world. But I was like, cool. I went there. Yeah. And I remember going there and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I recorded my podcast episode with no name, by the way. Yeah. I hadn't decided.
You haven't decided a name.
Recorded an episode without a name. I said I'll edit it afterwards. Yeah. Then I remember walking home and I was there playing with, I need a good saying. I was like, I don't know. I was like making money. I was like, I don't know. And I was like, what's a good saying when it comes to money? I said, look after the pennies and the pounds, look after you. I said, pennies to pounds. Okay. And I Googled it and I was like, oh my gosh, like no one's actually, I can use this name. Yeah. And then I went home. Bear in mind, I floated a lot of names to my dad. Yeah. He didn't like any of them. When I came with pennies to pounds, I remember he stood there. He's like, Yeah. And that was the only one he agreed on. I said, that's the name. That's the name I'm going with. So then I've got someone that I knew from Twitter to create me a logo. He did it in like 3 days. Wow. As soon as I had that, I released the first episode and the rest was history.
Wow. You turned around very quickly.
The thing is, when you have social media virality, you can't sit down and wait. Yeah. I knew that true. I was buzzing at that moment and everyone's looking at me for financial stuff. I can't say in a month's time I might release a podcast.
Yeah.
I've got to do it now. I've got to kind of capitalize on this buzz.
Yeah.
So I said this has to be the quickest turnaround ever. Like it has to be done.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Wow. So I guess one of my questions I'm thinking is, you know, you said that you feel like you were always an entrepreneur. Where do you feel like that came from? Because not everybody would just do something about it. Some people would have been, oh yeah, okay, cool, I'll just do another tweet. But some people wouldn't have executed further than that.
Do you know what? I actually don't know, because my parents taught me a lot about money, but they're not what I'd call entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So they taught me how to manage the money once you made it and all of that stuff. But they never were really like that. I mean, to be fair, they used to sell a lot on eBay. Like they were one of the pioneers, you know, when eBay was like, they used to do that. So to be fair, like in that sense, they did side hustles in that sense.
Cool.
And then I had my first business when I was 9.
Okay, so you've always been into business.
Yeah,
so you've had your first business at 9. What was it?
My mum over summer taught me how to knit. So I went in and I told everyone, guys, you want a scarf? It's getting chilly. Tell me what colour you want. I'm by the wall. And so they told me what colour. I sold it for £1. They give me £1.
Okay.
My mum would take me to the shop.
Yeah.
Buy whatever colour if I didn't have it at home.
Yeah.
And then I'll do my homework. After homework, I'm going to sit there and knit the scarf.
So you were always interested in business?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was me.
But you don't know where it came from. It's just an interest.
No, I guess like I said, my parents did that side hustle, but I don't think it was necessarily that really. I think it was just in me, honestly. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So okay, you obviously released the podcast. It did crazy numbers. I think it was like I remember $50,000 in your first 6
months. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think was behind that success of that? Because that's crazy.
It's crazy.
Mad.
It's crazy. I think it was highlighting that there's an issue. People want to learn this information and there isn't a source that looks like someone that they want to learn from. I feel like,
I know what you mean,
obviously there's places like you and I now who are there, but prior to that it's middle-aged white men. If you're someone who's grown up in an urban area, you've grown up in Newham like me, I'm not going to listen to middle-aged white men. What do you know about financing from me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what that looks like growing up in Newham or growing up in London or whatever that looks like. Now when I've come along and I've said, hey guys, I'm 21, but I know a thing at all about finance. Like, let's talk about finance. Yeah, let's talk about that. How can you grow your savings? Trust me, you need to save, you know? Now you're like, okay, cool. Like, I'm listening to her because she actually gets me. She's actually at uni and she gets me. So I think that was probably part of it, that I look like a lot of people who listen to the podcast, or I have a similar upbringing or similar background to people who listen to the podcast. And even people who may be completely different to me, it's still a breath of fresh air to learn from someone like that.
I agree. I think it's important. I think having the status quo, we've got to change it. You know what I mean? It can't be the same, right? Like, can't be the same messages. And also as well, hearing it from a younger perspective as well, right? Your take on things from your point of view, coming from where you're coming from. Do you know what I mean? I think, like you said, it's refreshing.
I think so.
So I've got this question, right? So obviously you went viral, did the podcast, right? And you were still working at Apple, right? How are you kind of balancing the two? Did you say in your mind, okay, cool, I want to go full time with this. I want to actually turn this into a business, or were you just seeing where it was going?
I was seeing where it could go.
Okay.
I didn't know if you could make money from it. Okay. I mean, the only proof that we had that this could be a viable business was Martin Lewis at the time.
Yes.
Everyone else, there wasn't even massive content creators in that space, or you didn't know if they're actually making money, where they're just doing this because they were passionate about it. So money wasn't necessarily the first reason I started. I started because I had a passion. So I was like, okay, cool. Right, I need to keep growing. And my main platform at the time was Twitter. So what I would do is I was working at Apple Friday to Monday. So every week, Friday to Monday, I'd come down from uni. Obviously, I've got uni. I think I had uni Tuesday to Thursday. So Sunday, Monday, even though I was working Sunday, it was a short shift. Those are my times. So I would spend Sunday morning and part of Monday scheduling my tweets for the rest of the week.
Oh, sir.
So I'd be posting 5-6 times a day, but I'm not posting. I've sat down and I've spent hours scheduling all my tweets. So every 2 hours, I'm posting something. I'm saying something. Here's a link to this. Here's a link to that. So it looks like we're constantly active. And in the beginning, I think that was very pivotal to my initial growth and getting the podcast out there and really kind of doing the thing. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. But I said, let me at least just grow, that I can have options. And then me going full time was off the back of, I had some brands reach out to me and I was like, okay, cool. Like, there's money here. I didn't know there's money here, but maybe this is a viable thing. And I remember telling my dad that I was going to leave my secure, stable job to go to this risky thing that we don't even know if you can actually make a living from.
Yeah.
And I knew my dad is not the one to really say, go and risk it. So I had saved up 6 months worth of expenses. And I'd gone to my dad and I said, right, I'm going to resign. You're not going to agree, but I'm resigning. And I said to him, I've got 6 months worth saved up. And Apple say to you, within 6 months, you can come back without having to interview again. So I knew I've got that contingency plan. If after month 4, I really say this is not going to work, I can walk back into Apple and my job's still there.
Yeah.
So I said, I owe it to myself to give it 6 months. And my dad was like, okay, cool. And after 6 months, if it doesn't work, you go back in. And I remember I did that. I was working. I wasn't too sure in those 6 months. And I remember resigning from Apple. They're like, you really going to go? Like, are you making money from this? And I was like, I believe in me. You don't need to believe in me. I do. And let me tell you something. On month 6, my same Apple store called me back to deliver a podcast workshop for them.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, if this isn't a full circle moment, I don't know what is.
That's wow.
And that was confirmation on the last month where I was like, I need to see, is this worth it?
Yeah.
That happened in month 6. And I said, yeah.
That is crazy. So the same... Can you imagine?
Crazy.
Can you imagine?
Crazy.
The same company you're leaving is like, can you
come back
come and pay
a
you?
Today Apple session? Crazy. It's honestly so crazy.
That is, wow. I told you destiny, right? It sounds like destiny.
Yeah, I think so. I have to agree.
Crazy.
I have to agree.
So, okay, so you touched on an important thing, brands, right? Working with brands, right? Was it in the case when you were starting off earlier, was it you reaching out or were they reaching out to you? What was that like?
So I think initially around the first 6 month buzz, they were reaching out to me.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was a lot of, okay, cool, Kia, who you want to reach out to? Who do you want to work with? Because you actually got to be proactive. But a lot of this information it's not out there really. No one really tells you.
No.
And I mentioned them earlier, but the Guap boys, Ibrahim and Jide, they were so key to me in the beginning because I'd come every week and I was just like wide-eyed girl, just like, I'm just having fun podcasting. And they were like, but Kia. And I'd come to him and be like, oh my gosh, this brand's reached out to me. Like, I'm just going to charge them like £100. And they're like, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's great money.
Yeah.
They're like, no. And they would sit me down and write me out templates and send this email for me and say, like, okay, you need to put this here. I've sent it to you. Go and send that.
Yeah.
And they were really giving me step by step because I didn't know.
Yeah.
They've been in the game for 4 years at that point. I've just started. I'm 21. I don't know how to work with brands. This is all new to me. I'm just like, £200 is great. That's great money.
It's crazy because, like you said, right, like it's great money because we all post content for free anyway. So if somebody's paying you, you're like, why not? Like, what?
Yeah.
Seriously?
And they'll be like, no, Kia, you are not doing that. So I'll forever thank those boys because they really, really did help me.
That's amazing. What did you like about working with brands and what don't you like about working with brands?
I like that I'm able to work with quite a lot of brands that either I organically share, so it's great obviously we pay for something you share for free anyway, and I like to work with brands who are running campaigns that I actually believe in or I feel like are going to be impactful to my audience. I've worked with a number of campaigns that I'm like, this is actually going to hit home, or I've had people come back to me and say that was so good, I really needed that information. I'm like, that's great, because I think sometimes people who aren't content creators have this perception that it's an ad, that's nothing. But a lot of times we take ads because we believe in the brand and or the campaign is impactful, it's beneficial. So I like that. The flip side of what I don't always enjoy is sometimes you're not necessarily working with the brand directly, you're working with the agency.
Okay.
So because you have that middleman, there can be delays in relaying information. So I've had it before, maybe I've shared content for approval and they haven't shared it in time. So the brand's saying, well, she didn't share it in time. So blah, blah. Bro, you had it on time. They just didn't share it with you. So take it up with them. Or sometimes things get lost in translation. I'm like, if I could just speak to them directly and ask them what they want, not what you think it should be. I think it's more the middleman element is what I don't enjoy. Okay. Because agencies sometimes have one way, but then the brand didn't want that. I've had that before. I'm like, so why did this happen? And the brand's like, we didn't do this. And you find it's an agency who did that. I'm like, this is just, I get it because they're outsourcing it for them, for the brand. It makes sense. Yeah. But sometimes the wrong agency just doesn't work. And that can leave a sour taste in your mouth when you're working on a campaign. It's like, this wasn't fun. And I feel like it should be fun to a certain degree.
I agree. I think it should be fun, right? Like, that's the point of us doing it. Oh, yeah, okay, of course there's payment. But you should enjoy it.
You should enjoy what you're creating in that process, I think.
Yeah, it's a creative process and you want to enjoy the creative process. It's not like, So, obviously, now your brand is massive. You must get so many opportunities. How do you decide what's like the right one for you? Because you must be getting left, right, center, all these opportunities. Obviously, some small ones, some big ones. How do you decide what's right for you?
I think it's easier when it's brand campaigns.
Okay.
Because you can read through the brief that the brand sends you.
Yeah.
And that tells you everything you need to know. They'll tell you, okay, cool, we're trying to convey, like, I look for the top line key messages. What are you trying to convey with this campaign? At the end of it, my content should leave the viewer with what?
Yeah.
And then after that, I look and see, because sometimes brands say, you can't mention this, you can't do that, you can't do that, can't do that, can't do that. And it's like, this is too long and it's too hefty, and I feel like it's going to restrict my creativity.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Like, I might still ask them, okay, cool, but if I have this idea, would you approve that? If you say, it's not within the scope, I'm not interested.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like I should be restricted in my creativity, because as creators, we know our audience better than the brands. The brands 100%. Have a certain target that they want to meet, and they're like, no, but it needs to be like this. And I'm like, okay, cool, but I'm telling you that within the first 3 seconds, my followers will not take it. Yeah. And I've had some brands who insist, and I'm like, cool, let's do it your way. And what does the content do? It tanks.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know whose fault that is, because I told you it wasn't going to work. Yeah. And the brands who let me have full creativity, I've done it once or twice to let that brand know that didn't work. And I always use it as a case study to other brands. Like, if you're not going to let me have full reign, it's what's going to happen to your content. And the ones that I've done well, have just like, I've had ones that have grown like organic content because they've allowed me to create the content how I think it's good. Because I always think if you're going to do sponsored content, it should still provide some sort of value.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I did a piece of sponsored content which was for a car company, but I literally gave tips. The whole video was giving useful tips to manage a car. And then the last 15 seconds was just the brand. Yeah. Because I still believe in the brand. But I don't think every ad needs to be, hey, you love this phone? This is what this phone is. It can just be, I'm giving you useful tips, and at the end, oh, this is the company. People look more likely to take it in. Yeah. And also, I have a list of like spaces that I won't work in. Like, there's certain things that I just won't take. If they're a brand in a certain space, I may not do it depending on what they're looking to push and what their messaging is. So I have created those kind of values that I want Pennies to Pounds to create content around.
Okay, that makes sense. Wow, that's good. I was thinking actually about something, right? The pressure of being a content creator.
Yes.
How do you deal with that pressure? Do you feel pressure? Because, you know, sometimes what can happen, right? Obviously, you've come to a place where obviously you started to now you're here, and now your expectations there now. Yeah. It's not the expectation of the beginning where, oh my God, this is crazy. Like whatever the views is, whatever, right? It's like starry-eyed. But now it's like, okay, why am I not hitting the same numbers? Yeah. How do you deal with that?
I think I realized that things fluctuate. Sometimes content not always doing numbers or not landing isn't necessarily me. It could just be the algorithm. Yeah. It could be that the first 3 seconds weren't great and we need a better hook. It could be anything. And I realized it's not a reflection on me, because if you let yourself get too caught up in numbers, when you're doing great, you now feel related. And when a video's only done 20 likes, for example, on TikTok, you're now like, well, I feel like trash now because no one liked it. Yeah. But sometimes it's not about that. Yeah. So I think I'm very much removed from the numbers. Okay. I don't look at the numbers too tough. I'm like, okay, cool, you posted a video. Okay, cool, that did well. Oh, whoa. I'm like, oh, that did well. Some of them I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. And sometimes they pick up 3 weeks later, and now all of a sudden you've got loads of likes for a video you posted 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I think once you remove yourself from the numbers, because I used to get so caught up right at the beginning at numbers and following and this and that when it wasn't going my way or when things weren't working out, I'd be so upset. And it's so damaging to your mental health if you allow yourself to I was almost placing my worth against the likes and the numbers and the followers and all of this. And if I saw things drop, then I'm not good enough anymore and my content isn't great anymore. What am I doing wrong? And that's nothing to do with that. Yeah. So I think that's how I do it, to remove myself from it.
That's good. You said something really important there, honestly. Like, your likes on Instagram or any social media, retweets or whatever, it doesn't equate to your self-worth.
It means, because
like you say, it's up and
nothing.
down.
Exactly.
1 minute it could be 20, next week it could be 2,000 likes. It's just the nature of the game.
That's it. And if you allow yourself to be attached to it, you're always gonna allow yourself to be hurt by it as well. So I just don't do it.
That's such a great tip. Obviously, you also work on TV. Okay. Whoa, you did. Do you still doing TV right now?
I haven't done TV this year yet.
Okay, haven't done it. Are you planning to?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We're gonna talk about them aspirations. But you did a Channel 4 series. I did. Money on My Mind.
Yes.
How did that come about, and walk us through the experience?
So, Channel 4. For context, I've had a few different casting calls with different channels before, so that wasn't my first one.
Mm-hmm.
One was meant to happen, it didn't happen because of lockdown, so I was a bit like, oh, that's a shame. I was really looking forward to that one. I've had a few others, and I think because of the one that was meant to happen during lockdown and didn't happen, and I got so down about that one. I was so excited to do TV, and then that didn't happen, that when I had other casting calls, I didn't really...
You just didn't...
I did a casting call, and after that, I put it to the back of my mind. I'm not thinking about it again. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, not getting upset, because I knew how much that one upset me. So then it was the same thing. In January of 2022, I had an email from, you know, the... What are they called? The production company who were doing Money in My Mind, saying, oh, hey, Kia, we just want to have a little call with you, blah, blah. I said, yeah, cool, come. Went on a call for like 20 minutes. And they're like, yeah, we love you. I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, thanks. I was like, yeah, sure, thank you. And I forgot about it. And I had taken a part-time job working for this event-based company, just doing their social media. It wasn't really anything for any reason. They needed someone. I was like, I guess I could manage it around Pennies To Pounds. Yeah. Like, I was still full-time. I was like, I guess I could manage it around it. And I'd only been there for a month. Okay. And it wasn't my plan to leave so soon. I think I was going to leave after about 6 months. It wasn't meant to be after a month. And then one random day in April, it was like a Friday. I remember this vividly. It was a Friday evening. Hadn't heard from Channel 4 at all. Didn't even remember them. I literally forgot I did the casting call. And I'd finished my work there. I remember packing up my stuff, getting in my car, about to drive home. And I get an email come through. And I hadn't even checked the email. And then Emmanuel, called me. And I said, why's Eman calling me for? Picked up the call first. He said, sis, you checked your email. I said, what are you talking? I said, Emmanuel, energy. Why is energy there? It's a Friday evening. Where's the energy from? He said, you ain't checked your email. He said, check your email and call me back. I said, what's he talking about? Check my email. So congratulations, Kia. You've been cast for Money in My Mind. We're about to start recording on Monday. I said, it's Friday. They said, Monday, can you come to... And it was somewhere far. What? Are you free to come here? I said, huh? And then my manager called me and said, Kia, you're recording a show in 3 days. I called Emmanuel and said, Emmanuel, what's going on? We're recording for... I went to Birmingham. That was the first day. I said, we're going to Birmingham on Monday. He said, yeah, you're going to get your stuff ready. We're going to record a TV show. And it was like mind-boggling. I'm actually going to record a TV show with Channel 4 for the next 4 to 5 months. We're recording the show. And it was just like insane. That's absolutely insane.
That's crazy.
That's what happened.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. I told you, destiny.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. Gosh. Honestly, did not see it coming, but it was such a great experience.
Wow. And okay, so you did the TV thing. How did you find it? Do you enjoy it? Because it sounds like you want to do more of it.
So TV, what I will say, if you're someone who's interested in getting into TV, it's a lot.
Okay.
In the sense of when you're on TV, you're viewed as a talent. So we are the on-screen talent. Yeah. So there's 3 of us who are on screen, not including the contributors, who are the people in this case, who are the people that we're helping in each episode. So they're the contributors. But there's 3 talent. And if you're talking about like the crew members, there's probably about 40, 50 people on set. So it's massive.
40, 50 people just looking at you.
Just staring at you. Yeah. When it's time to record, everyone's looking at you. Everyone's looking at you.
Were you nervous at any of those?
Oh, in the first episode, I was so nervous. You get ease into it, you're kind of used to it. Okay. But in the first one, it was scary. And because it was sponsored by a brand as well, the brand was there. They sent their reps down.
They were just like, what?
They were just there.
Yeah, you better perform. You better perform. You know?
But there were scary moments because the brand was there and they had their reps. And then we'd be talking. And then I remember there was one point they'd be like, okay, stop mid-sentence. And then you see them whisper. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I say wrong? Like, they stopped a mile and what did I say wrong? Blah, blah. And then like the director come over to me and say, Kia, can you say this in this way? And I was like, did I say something wrong? They're like, no. And then you get to find out that this is just how TV works. Like, it's nothing to do with you. Maybe it's just the brand wants to convey a different message. It's not actually how you delivered it. But obviously you get into your head to think, I said something wrong. They didn't like the way I said something. Yeah. It wasn't that. Okay. But it's a lot because there's so many eyes on you. If you get something wrong, we've now all got to stop. And we've all got to start again. You don't want that. You want to be the one that's messed up that we've now got to do it again. Yeah. But then you just get used to it. Like I said, episode 1 was a lot of learning, and I found it very overwhelming, if I'm honest. And I did let the production team know that it's very overwhelming, just because it's a brand new experience. But then episodes 2 to 6, they're a breeze. They're it was fun. Great. Like, you stand in front of the camera, and we'd be joking around, and say, okay, we're out to record. I'd be like, okay, ready, and we just say our lines. And,
wow. Yeah. Was it a lot of memorization?
It wasn't really memorizing. It was kind of like
improvisation?
They want you to say stuff in your own words. So they kind of say, okay, cool. What tips would you give for this? And I'll say this based on the situation. It's like, okay, cool. Okay. So with this, can you make sure you include that? Boom, boom, boom. But say in your own way. So we know the kind of things that need to be in our answers.
Yeah.
But you can kind of say it how you want. So when you watch it back, you'll see there's certain bits I'm like, really did that? Like, no, you should have done it because it's in our own words. And even with E-Man, he'd be like, nah, none of that. Yeah. Because they want us to say certain things, but however you'd usually deliver it.
Okay. Wow. It sounds like such an interesting experience for growth. So it sounds nerve-wracking, but it sounds amazing.
It was so cool. I've never been to so many places. Like we've filmed in a different location every time.
Really?
So I went all around the UK to record the show. Like they call us and be like, oh yeah, in 4 days time we're gonna go to Glasgow.
Okay.
We're flying to Glasgow. And I'm like, okay, I better pack up my stuff because we're gonna fly to Glasgow. Or like, yeah, you're going to Wales. We went to Birmingham. We went everywhere. You just pack up your stuff and go and record them, and that's what we're doing. It was really fun though. It was very fun.
That's crazy.
Very fun.
Okay, so I've got an interesting question for you. You might not know the answer to this, right? What is your dream? Is this even the right question to ask? What's your dream show? Or what's the dream show that you would create for yourself if you were to star in it?
If I would star in it?
Yeah.
So
because you said you want to be in TV, right?
Yeah,
so,
I do.
Yeah,
what
are the dream? You can ponder on it.
Okay, no, so I know what I'd want to be on. So this necessarily isn't a dream.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about what's already out there, if I was to be on something, I said, whack me on The Circle.
Circle?
Put me on The Circle.
Isn't that a dating show?
No.
Sorry, you see, I'm not on.
The Circle is a social media, like everyone's locked into like their own little flat.
Yeah.
And it's a social media thing where you're all on this social media and you can pick who you can be. So I could go on The Circle and be Kia.
Oh,
I could pretend to be Atto.
Okay.
And I got my profile picture, and it's the person who basically can deceive everyone. Not necessarily deceive, you might go yourself, but the person who's the most liked, essentially, will win. I don't know how much it is, 25k, 50k, something like that. But I just feel like it'd be such a good experience that I feel like I've got such a good personality that would come across really well in The Circle. So just as a like joke reality TV show, that's probably what I would do.
You might get contacted after they watch.
Hey, I would love that. I would love that. I can't lie. The Circle, I feel like I'll be in my element with The Circle, and I would definitely not be myself. I'm not myself. But if I'm talking about like a dream show that I'd want to be on, I'm not sure. You know, I feel like I really want to be a host.
Okay, a host. I can see you doing that.
Thank you. I feel like I could be a really fun host. Like I don't want to be on the show, but like something like Love Island, not Love Island. I don't want to be on Love Island.
Okay.
But like just a host of a show. I just want to give a little bit of banter. And I'd be like, yeah, bro, what happened there? Come on, talk me through that one. What were you thinking, bro? You know what I mean? I want to be the host. I really want to help bring shows together because when we think about, I use Love Island because a lot of people watch it. But when you think about it, people have a lot of critique for whoever hosts it because that helps to tie everything together. There's things that happen in the villa. People leave the villa and you need the host to bring everything together. Like we have, you know, the Ian Sterling who does the voiceover and that brings together when you're watching it. Yeah. So I really would love to just be a host for like a really sick show.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're putting it out there. Putting it out there. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had another amazing collaboration recently with Offspring and Night.
Yes.
That's crazy. So, okay, first Apple, first lot, Channel 4, all these are one. And then, look, this, should I even say this? Nike is probably the father of trainers. Let's be real,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
How did that opportunity happen? Honestly, that's crazy.
It was crazy to me. I remember it was very covert. This was like end of September. Yeah, it was this woman I know. She messaged me and she said, "Hey Kia, just asking, do you like trainers?" I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay, cool." And she didn't reply to me for hours. I said, "Random," but I forgot about it. I carried on my day.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "You free next week? Friday and Saturday?" I said,
this
"Yeah."
This person is being bare
funny,
bro.
And she's like, "Okay, cool. I'll be back in a bit." I said, "Okay." So that's when I started thinking, what's going on? And then she's like, "Can I have your number, please?" I said, "What?" I said, I literally messaged her. I said, "Are you setting me up?" That's what I replied. I said, "Are you setting me up?" And she started laughing. I said, "No, I'm gonna get my manager to speak to you." I said, "Okay, cool." Gave her my number. They didn't call that same day. I was thinking, what's going on? Then the manager called the next day and was like, "Hey, Kia, I know we've been very secretive. Sorry, I still can't tell you anything yet." But and she asked me a few more questions about me. She's like, "Oh, like, do you actually like trainers? Because I don't really do many full body photos. So they're like, we're looking for your Instagram. We can't see your feet." I said, "No, I have loads of trainers. I just don't really take full bodies." And she's like, "Okay, cool." Anyway, a couple of days later, then they finally said, "We've got a campaign with Nike. They love you and they want you to be the Nike and Offspring mark maker."
Wow.
For 2022.
What does mark maker mean?
So they every, I think it was sneakers. Offspring, and Size.
Okay.
Partnered with Nike, and each one of those brands picked someone to be their mark maker who they feel like is making their mark. A black creative, because it was during Black History Month.
That's
who they feel like is
amazing.
making their mark on the community in what they're doing.
Big.
So Offspring and Nike had picked me to be the Offspring mark maker.
Congratulations, by
Thank
the way.
you.
That's amazing. I mean, I said it at the time, but
again,
man, that is big.
So they had picked me. So obviously, that's why they asked if I was free to go and do the campaign shoot. So it was a 2-day shoot. And then, after that, it was a flurry of events I had to go to. I say I had to go to, like I didn't want to go. I would have gone for free. I can't lie to you. I would have just put me on the list and I would have come. But obviously, it's part of what I was doing. I had to attend these events. But it was sick. My pictures were in Nike Town. We had loads of events for it. It was incredible. Yeah.
That's... Wow. Okay, I've got this question. I didn't even actually have it on my list, but I was thinking, because you had so many opportunities, what would you say out of all of these things was like the most important to you out of all these opportunities, and why?
Nike.
Okay, why?
Nike. Not just because of it being Nike. I think I remember actually at some point, I don't remember when, but I remember crying on that campaign just because of the gravity. And I remember speaking to the agency who were like the intermediaries for this campaign. And I remember sitting them down and I was like, I'm crying because it's overwhelming. Like when I told you, the Channel 4 shoot had like 40 people. This shoot had like 100 people. I'm not even joking. Like I'm not even exaggerating. There's 100 people on that set. And that in itself is overwhelming. When you've got 3 talent, only 3 of us who are in front of the camera, and there's like 100 people milling around, and everyone's asking you, okay, you good? Can I get you anything? Yeah. That's overwhelming in itself. But in a good way, which is like, whoa, you need to get used to that. But I think I cried because I said, I just started this as a passion. Obviously, making money is a bonus. It helps me to grow the business and grow everything. But to be recognised on such a massive scale by a brand that I never thought would ever be able to cross over in what I do is massive. And there was an event that we did with Offspring. They do their Sunday discussions every Sunday, like on their Instagram. And then they did the first ever in-person event, and that was my event, where I was the headline for that event because of this campaign. Wow. And obviously we had the other panelists, so we did like an amazing talk. But it was Kia and Offspring, Meet the Mark Maker, and then we were having these other discussions, and people had won tickets, people begging to come for the first ever Offspring event, and that was for me. And I remember saying that, I said, this is just very overwhelming, but in a great way, that I'm able to have this platform, and they've given me this platform and believed in me to do that, and to have my family there. My family never really get to come and see me talk or do anything, and I had my dad and brother in the audience, and they were in awe. I heard from other people that my brother was going around saying, my sister's sick, innit? And I was like, he never told me that. But he's telling you, man, in this event. But even just that, even my dad was there taking pictures of me. He was just like smiling from ear to ear, seeing me actually in my element, and he's like, everyone is here for my daughter in this room. And I think that was a very overwhelming experience in a good way. Wow,
that's crazy. I can imagine it as well. I can imagine it, because you're very humble. You're very level-headed. You're very down to earth. So I can understand for real, like, why you're like, oh my god, like, what's going on, man? I'm just like,
it was a lot.
Like, oh my god,
it was a lot.
Like, mad, yeah. Oh gosh,
it was crazy, very crazy.
Why do you think you've been successful?
Oh, good question. I feel like my initial success was born out of the need of something that wasn't out there as accessibly. Like we needed financial education. Yeah, there were places. I'm not saying there wasn't prior to me coming in, but I feel like it wasn't as mainstream, wasn't as in your face. Like a lot of people will say, "Oh my gosh, I'm looking for someone in finance." A lot of people still tag Pennies To Pounds, because I feel like I really pushed that this is who we are. Yeah, and I think since then, I have tried as much as I can to stay true to myself and the initial beliefs and why I started Pennies To Pounds. And then even just myself, like I've started to grow my own personal platform. And I think a lot of people say, we love your energy and we love you and this is that. And I think within my nature, I think because I like to do this myself when I talk to people, I like to see their upbringing. So I think a lot of where people are today, you can see elements of that in their upbringing. And I think this was going to come in some way, shape or form, like you said. Like I started my first business at 9. Then in school, I was selling cookies and donuts. Then in sixth form, I was selling hair products. I shipped them over from the US and I sent them in the UK. Like that was me. I was just a hustler and a goal-getter. So when I saw that, I said, this is gonna do well. Yeah. And people told me otherwise, you just don't know. It's going to do well. And that's literally what I sat on. And even to this day, I'm like, this is going to be a massive name. Hands down, this is what's going to happen.
And it is.
So thank you. Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's what I think.
So in your path to success,
yes.
obviously there's obstacles on the way. What has been like some of the biggest obstacles for you, and how have you overcome them?
I think they're combined. I think my biggest obstacle, which I don't think is such an obstacle now, but definitely was right at the beginning, was my age.
Okay.
My gender.
Interesting.
And my race. I think those three combined kind of puts me on the bottom of the totem pole. You know what I mean? I started at 21, so I was a 21-year-old black female from inner East London. It really put me at the bottom. And I knew that there was a problem when I'd walk into rooms that some of my white counterparts have walked into, and I'm being questioned about my qualification. I'm being questioned about, how do you know that? I'm like, but I know you didn't ask my white counterparts then. I know for a fact you didn't ask that. But yet you're asking me, and I have the exact same qualifications as they do. But now I'm being questioned harder because I'm young, and like, you're 21, how do you know that? I'm speaking, because I might go on radio with someone who's 45, and they're like, speaking to a 21-year-old who's telling me stuff that I don't know. Nah, how do you know that? You sure it's right? And I'm like, but Google it then. If I'm wrong, tell me. But I'm not wrong, so it doesn't really matter how old I am or that I'm a woman. Because there's a lot of guys who are like, I'm not learning about finance from a woman. I'm like, okay, then don't. That's fine. I'm not begging you to learn it from me. And then now I'm black, and they're like, well, you must not have money. How do you have money? You know what I mean? It's all these stereotypes. I'm not saying everyone had that, but I know that there were certain obstacles that I had to overcome. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job at that. And now I believe in holding the door open for people after me, because I know how hard it was for me to even get that door open.
100%.
So now I'm wedging my foot in and saying, anyone who wants to come up after me or is on my level and wants, you know what I mean, a little intro, I can give you that intro, because I know how hard it was for me to even get into that door and be respected in this industry. I was 21. I was like, nah, you're going to respect me. I'm not going to lie to you. You are. Because I was thinking, brands, you guys are trying to beg for the Gen Z, and I've literally just rallied the troops that you've been trying to do for the past 5 years, and you still can't connect with them. So you are going to put respect to my name. That is a given.
100%.
And I think it was just me being very headstrong and very confident that they were like, okay, cool. Like, fine. We can't really... I mean, you can if you want to. You can still judge me. I'm not begging to come on your platform. So, yeah. I think that's what I'd say.
Wow. That's so interesting, actually. I didn't think about the aspect of you being young and it being about money. The black and woman, we know that. I knew that might probably be like an obstacle, but I didn't think about the young part.
Yeah, because I was so young.
Because actually, it's an old industry when you think about it, right? Traditionally,
and no one wants to hear. Can you imagine? I'm sitting there telling people about pensions, and I'm like, "What do you know about pensions? You're 21."
Yeah.
I'm like, but this information you didn't even know about this, so just take it, maybe. You're welcome. You know?
That is so funny. Like, focus on the quality of the content rather than what you think about the person.
That's what I do. I remember there was a point. I remember actually one time I was on radio, and then one of the hosts said, "But you're so young. Like, what do you know about?" I mean, he literally said, "What do you know about finance?" And I remember saying to him on radio, I laughed because I didn't expect him to ask me this live on air. And I said to him, "Has my information been correct so far? Is there anything wrong that I said?" And he said, "No. But I said, well, I feel like my age needs to come into this conversation. I feel like my age is immaterial. I'm young, yes. I know the knowledge, yes. That's what that matters." And he's like, "Yeah, fair enough. I haven't got a response to that." And I said, "Nah, no one's going to try and call me out live on air for being young. If the information is incorrect, maybe you want to put it down to my age. I didn't know. I didn't research. If the information is correct, my age is immaterial. Because if I was 33, maybe you wouldn't say anything, but because I was 21, no. Because I'm 25 now. Yeah. If you try and ask me, "Oh, you're only 25," I'll say, okay. And I've been in this industry almost 4 years, so what? It doesn't make a difference about my age, does it?
That's wild. You know what's crazy? I'm wondering, where's the confidence? Because you're confident, clearly, right? Because for you to answer it back, like, what? So what?
You're not going to call me out like that. I don't like that. I don't like that.
No, I don't like it either. But some people might shrink. So I'm wondering, like, how comes you didn't shrink? And where does that confidence come from? And how can, because what I'm trying to help the listeners and watchers is to be confident in yourself, right? Being confident when you say, don't let somebody try and shrink you out of your position or trick you out of your position.
I think for me, when I was in secondary school, so like 7 or 8, I was very shy. I know it's hard to believe now because you see me now, but I was very shy. And then I think it was year 9, I started watching UK comedy, so a lot of UK comedians. And I was in awe of their stage presence. They could command an audience and make them laugh pretty much on cue. And I was in awe of that. So I used to just study how they'd be, how they carry themselves. If they had people who would throw something back and say, you're terrible, and they just switch it into a joke. And I was like, I'm in awe of that. How would you manage to do that? So I used to just study how they'd do all that. And then when I got to a certain point, I used to do drama classes when I was like about 11, 12. And then I got back into it when I was in sixth form. I was in a play. And I put myself in a very uncomfortable position. I managed to get a lead role.
Okay.
Uncomfortable. So not only am I acting, I was acting as a man. And I had to do 2 solos. I had to sing. I said, this is very uncomfortable. But I did it because I told myself I'm going to be in more uncomfortable situations, whatever path I choose. So I want to get comfortable with it now and be confident. And let me tell you something. I was not confident before I went out, but I'd walk out onto that stage and I'd be the most confident person on there.
Wow. And
then afterwards, people remarked how good I was. I was so confident. I had stage presence and stuff. And I just said, I'm going to have to carry this later on in life. And then when I got to doing what I was doing, I got on radio. I remember my dad advised me and said, look. I remember before I went to my first one, my dad said, look, you're 21. I think actually when I went to my first one, I was 20. My dad said, look, you're going on this radio show that I've listened to for years. And this is men who know what they're doing. And they've asked you on as a guest. They're going to look at you because you're 20. But you need to be confident. As long as you know the things are correct, you've got to carry yourself and you've got to be confident. And I thought, no, they'd never call me out. And then when that happened, I said, nah, this is what he's talking about. I said, as long as I know I'm correct. If you're unsure, then that's when they're going to get you because you're going to start. I said, I know I'm correct. So you don't need to be rude about it. But I said, am I incorrect? I made a little joke. I said, was I incorrect? No. So what does it have to do anything? We had a little joke. But I said, no, I'm sure in it. So now, even to this day, if I know what I'm saying is true or if I know what I believe is true, you cannot change my mind. You can't. This is what I believe in. And I know it. And that's it. And I just think if you believe in yourself and you believe in what you're doing and the information that you're conveying, who can tell you otherwise? People can say I disagree. You're more welcome to disagree. Yeah. I'm not telling you have to agree with me, but this is where I'm standing. And a lot of people will tell you that I'm very strong on my beliefs. Yeah. And you can't change my mind. That's me.
I think there's something good in that though. I know some people say, "Oh yeah, being stubborn is bad," but I think
but I wouldn't call myself stubborn. I'm always open to hearing the other side. So if I hear someone's argument and I agree with that argument, I will change. Okay. But I mean, in terms of like something that I know, my belief, someone could come and say Pennies To Pounds is trash. What you or like I've had people say that information was wrong. Yeah. And I'll go back and say, actually, it's correct because blah, and I can give them sites and sources. Nope, it was wrong. I say, okay, sure. If you feel like that, cool. But I'm not changing my mind. Like, that's what I mean. I'm confident in that sense. But I'm always. I believe we need to learn from each other, and I'm not 100%. Always going to be correct. Yeah. So when I'm incorrect, I'll accept that, and I'm easy to say like, "Oh, you're right, I was wrong." But in stuff that I know is correct in my heart of hearts, that's me.
Okay, love that. I love that. I've got this question right. So obviously, you're young. You've achieved a lot in 4 years, right?
Yeah.
How do you ensure that you stay humble and stay hungry to keep progressing?
That's a really good question. I think humble, I'd like to think that, I mean, obviously, as you gain more success, naturally we all change, right? I think that's just normal. Anyone who says that they will never change is a liar. But I think for me, I surround myself with my friends and family. I'm with them all the time. Like I'm at home. I'm there still cleaning the bathroom at home. I'm cleaning the kitchen. I'm not sitting here saying I'm gonna hire maids to do it. This is my yard. I'm still gonna clean it and look after the house. So I still do everything that's normal. Yeah. But I stay hungry because I know, A, I don't want to go back to where I started. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just like, nah, I don't need to go back there. I don't need to do that. And B, I surround myself nowadays when I go out to events and stuff. If people think I'm doing well, I'm doing nothing. I'm around people who are doing so well, who have got, and just to preface, it's not about the material things that you have, it's not about cars or anything, but I've seen people who are wealthy. Okay. I've seen true wealth and I've seen true success that I know I'm nowhere near it. And I need to keep working harder. I'm not saying I haven't done well to this point. I absolutely have. And I'm proud of myself. But I know there's still more to go. And I think sometimes some people are chasing and they're never satisfied. I know that if you left me at this point, I'd be happy. But equally, I know that I can work more. Okay. And the way I look at it as well is that I'm still young. I have no dependents. I'm not married. So this is probably the freest I'm ever going to be in life.
Freest.
So let me just use it to my advantage, because when those things change,
yeah,
my time will change and what I can give to what I'm doing will change. So I'm like, even if it's just another year, I don't know. Obviously, I can't predict my life. Maybe it's another year before things change.
Yeah.
But let me give it my all for this next year, and I'm just literally going to go for it. And I'm vision board, so I see everything that I want to achieve.
Yeah.
Visually, it's right by my bed, so I can see like, okay, cool, you want to achieve that this year. I wake up and I'm like, okay, get up. Even if it's, I'm like, I'm tired, man. Look at my vision board, like, fine, I'll get up. Yeah, I want to work towards that. Cool, I get it. So yeah, that keeps me going.
That's amazing. So you talked about a vision board. So what is the vision for Pennies to Pounds then?
For this year? For
the ultimate vision, yeah.
Ultimate vision.
Yeah.
Ideally, Pennies to Pounds will be the go-to for the Gen Zers. I say Gen Zers, the young people, to learn about personal finance in a simplified manner, because that's what we do in the podcast and our social channels. So it'll be, okay, cool, I want to figure out this. Maybe you're 22 and you're just come out of uni. What do I do? I'm get my first job. How do I manage my money? Oh, I'm going to go on Pennies to Pounds. The same way, I guess, we attribute a lot of that to like Money Saving Expert. Yeah. I would say that we'd be similar to them. Not just like them, similar to them, but for the younger generation. I'm not trying to be them. Okay. They are them. And I think they have their role and they should stay there. I'm not trying to change that. But I want to be similar to them. Stay there. Yeah, but in a good way. I don't think there's any competition with any of us.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think I just want to have my own part of the market where it's for the younger people. So that's what I'm trying to work towards for Pennies to Pounds.
Amazing. And we wish you luck on the podcast with that. So yeah, what do you have planned next for yourself?
Ooh, what do I plan next for myself? I guess on my personal platform, it's a lot about holidays. So I've got quite a few holidays coming up. And yeah, just a lot more doubling down, a lot more work. I've just got in an office space for Pennies to Pounds. You'll be seeing some content coming of me trying to get this all set up looking appropriate.
Wow.
So yeah, cool. That's kind of just what I'm pushing forward on.
Amazing. And where can people find you?
If you want to find myself, then you can find me on IKEA. So that's IKEEYAH, not like the shop. And if you want to find Pennies to Pounds, it's Pennies, IES, 2 pounds on everything, including podcast and social channels and website.
Amazing. You got a podcast as well. You've been talked about.
Yes.
You named the podcast.
Yes.
Okay, Pennies to Pounds.
Pennies to Pounds podcast, baby. That. Pennies to Pounds podcast.
Amazing. No, it's been great chatting to you. And it's, you know what's crazy, right? You've achieved so much by the time. I'm not even comparing it like that. No. But like, wow, you've achieved a lot. It's such a young age. Yes, at such a young age. And, you know, I'll just want to say I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Keep it going. You know, I think you're going to be an inspiration to a lot of other young people that, you know, if you go for it, you can make it happen.
You can definitely make it.
Do you know what I mean? And you've definitely shown that today with your story. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, right? And your life can change just like that.
Just like that.
You know what I mean?
People, and the maddest thing is, I feel like people don't always see it as a pivotal moment for you. Like, I remember being in the Apple store on my shift and telling everyone, I said, do you know my life's not going to be the same after this? And they said, Kia, relax. It's a viral tweet. I remember people saying, Kia, chill out. It's just one viral tweet. I said, nah. I said, you don't see what I see. And that's fine. It's my vision, not yours. I knew from that day onwards, it's never going to be the same again. And I'm gonna make sure that it's never going to be the same again. And then that was that.
That's crazy.
That was that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you have any final words for the listeners and watchers?
What I would say to everyone listening and watching, continue following this podcast. There's so many gems that Atto brings in and shares on here, so continue following it. And if you have a passion or a goal, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter, oh my gosh, I should have started it earlier, just start. You never know when things could change for you, what your life could look like, and you owe it to yourself to give it a go. The one thing I really don't like doing in life is having what ifs. So I always try and go for it. If things don't work out, then cool. That's fine. But you owe it to yourself just to try, because you never know.
Amazing. Wow. I was enjoying it. I was like, wow, this is sick. I'm enjoying this right now. Man. Amazing. Thank you so much, Kia, for, just, blessing us with your presence and just sharing your story. Watchers, listeners, I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Take Off Experience, and we'll see you next week's episode. Bless.